Hello, welcome back everyone to another episode of Let's Go. Hope everyone is doing fabulous out there and riding the wave of life. Today we're going to do something I think a little unique. We had Anne ask a question about red light therapy, so we are going to dive off on that subject and genre of thought for a moment. Because a while back, decided that, you try and shift the gears of looking from outside external answer sources to help us, heal us, to wrapping our heads around that we have everything we need inside. It's all an inside job, but still being like, well, okay, great, but I still have this headache or I still have this pain, and so, what I decided to do was that I was going to start collaborating with certain energies and modalities and more of a synergistic collaborative relationship instead of, oh, I'm going to use this to heal me. I'm going to use this to help me. And of course, Renee and her peeps, they always give me the guidance. So, I got to give some credit out there for that. But I really like the thought, the concept, and I do it. I actually do it of collaborating and creating a relationship with other energies and meaning like red light machines. And I love PEMF, which is pulse electromagnetic frequencies. I have a mat that I lay on, and I also have one that I just hang around my neck. And I can set it to different frequencies depending on what I want to work on. I have a hydrogen machine in my house that just hydrogenates the water. So I have all kinds of fun and infrared sauna, but what I will say is for me, it's very important the integrity of the product and the integrity of the company and the manufacturer. And I have been following wellness, holistic health, functional medicine. I have been following that for 20 years. So there are certain people that have been very passionate and invested in this sort of thing. So I watch them and then I see who they're recommending. And then if I can, I will find a interview with the creator of the devices. So most of the things that I own, I've actually watched interviews with the person that created it. And here's what is interestingly funny and cool, that the majority of them are heavy into science. The guy who created my little PEMF thing, he was a rocket space engineer. The girl that created the red light panels that I use, she was an engineer that worked, like, I think for NASA on submarines. So I love all of it. It's kind of like this cool collaboration of all of the thought forms from science to, energy, because most of us, we know energy. We don't need the science. We don't need the experiments and the clinicianal results, because those are very limited in my opinion. Um, so I love this new collaboration that I have with these things. And I also like that I own them. I can use them whenever I want. I don't have to, and I trust me, there's all the things are great, but like an acupuncturist, well, I have to keep going, right? It's a constant expenditure of time and money and a schedule. So for me, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm getting away from going external to having everything I need in my immediate surroundings. And then, some days I'm like, oh, yeah, I really want a red light. And then sometimes for weeks, I'm like, yeah, I really just don't want to do that. And then I listen. Okay, Renee, what do you got from
So,
all that?
yeah, Anne's question was, can you speak a little more about the red light? Like, what's the red light therapy doing for you?
So I think that all of it is working on a cellular level. And the red light now, is the new hot button. I mean, there's red light everywhere, which then I would disclose, be careful because now it's the TikTok social media rage, and now there's a ton of crap out there. And maybe the crap is still good, but I feel like if you're going to spend the money, at least get something that has some integrity to it. Um, so yeah, red light just kind of works to rejuvenate your cells. It works at a cellular level, and I don't know enough to like really dig deep into it. My guy recommended the company, and you got the whole book for free with all the science you could ever want behind it. I mean, it's a whole book and of there's all the different light frequency. There's so much to it that I don't retain all that. I
Okay.
go with my gut and my intuition, like, ooh, this company feels good. I like this. Um, but I love the concept. It's light, like one of our light, magnetics, light, sound, like that's where we're at. Sound and light, and that's to me, that's where the true everything comes in, the healing, the creation. So I have a couple different ones that I work with, but I think the premise for me was it's light and it communicates with your cells to rejuvenate them.
Thanks.
So those were the two things. If you want, so you can find the science everywhere. But and it's short. Like I have a unit that I'm looking at now that's full body. I mean, you have to stand in front of it naked, but 5 in the front, 5 in the back. I also have panels, but I have a blue, a green, and a red. They're a little more in depth in their abilities and capabilities. This is the girl that was an engineer for submarines. Um, so again, you use them differently because the panel you put right on you. So I love it. I mean, I think it's did I say acupuncture before? Yeah, because I am actually getting acupuncture now. And I do not enjoy going in and having needles stuck in me. Like I don't be like, oh, I can't wait for my acupuncture appointment. But to lay down, especially with the panel, like if I put it on my lower back or if I have any back or anything, it's like putting on a heating pad. Like it just feels so good. And just you can feel like it's not just a surface thing. It's like I like to imagine it communicating, getting in and communicating with my body. So
That makes total sense, especially the fact that you're saying, I imagine it communicate with my body. Because that's exactly what it's doing, right? Communicating with the cells. But what I love about that as well is I know you're going in there with an intention. And they are always saying the intention is what is carrying things through. And for those, because some people have brought in like questions and things of like, oh, I'm using this or I'm using that, and I'm going to use it in this particular case. Okay, so you're using red light therapy. So some people have said, okay, I'm using red light therapy, and how is that creating more separation in my body, because we're saying everything is within, and it is. But what we have to always remember is we need to remember what is there. So when you're using that red light therapy, are you or are you not? And I'm pretty sure you are, because I'm pretty sure you said this a long time ago, when we were just talking, that, okay, I'm helping this to, okay, cells, okay, body, you're remembering how to do this yourself. And well, you don't even have, I was going to say, and I would think, but they're saying what's actually happening is because you have had that intention in the beginning, you're remembering this yourself. You're talking to your system, right? You're remembering how to do this yourself. They're saying, so what's happening is those days where you're like, you know what, I haven't done this for a while. They're saying because your own cells, your own body is remembering and bringing that all forth and is doing it for it. And then when it needs that little extra charge or a little extra something that says, oh, wait a minute, this part, this energy that we're moving into doesn't remember this. And then all of a sudden you're drawn to doing it again. So I love that you're using the intuition to, okay, I need this for this. Then all of a sudden you stop doing it for a while, and then, oh, no, I'm going to start doing it again. And they're saying that this goes with everything. So everybody that's utilizing tools or thing like different things, oh, I'm going for acupuncture, I'm going for massage, I'm going for this. They're saying a couple of things are happening there. Your system is using the ability, and they're saying intention is big. So make sure you have your intention be, we, meaning all parts of you, we are remembering how to do this ourselves. Okay, cells, we're doing this because they're saying, especially right now, and what's coming in the next 3 to 4 weeks is a very strong energetic shift that is allowing our cells to communicate on another level, not only within ourselves, but with everybody else. So you might feel a deeper connection with other things, and you may feel more disconnected as well, because they're saying what's coming forth is the disconnection of the energetic field of our old bodies, the old energy field, the old true separation. Because they're saying, we were separated, just like when you're doing the red light therapy, your body is remembering how to do it because your intention is there, is remembering how to do it, and it is ending a separation within you. Because exactly what we've always said, you have everything within you to carry yourself forward, to remember. It's all you're doing is remembering. If you go and you learn something, all these courses, all these different things, nobody's teaching you anything. You're remembering it. They're showing you how to remember. They're saying things to have your body remember it. So what you're doing is, let's say you're layered. Let's say there's a lot of layers in this body between. What you've done is now you've learned this, or you really remembered it, right? You've closed that gap of the separation. When you go in and you say, okay, I'm going to do this red light therapy. Okay, body, you're going to remember how to do this yourself. You're closing that separation. You're talking to your body and ending the separation that goes back eons, because they're saying, think about it, your parents, their parents, their parents, their separation and fear. That's what it was all built on, right? Fear, right? And so it created separation. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to, or I'm afraid to do this and all that. So they're saying, so there's all that separation that we're healing for, not only ourselves, the overall consciousness, which is including all the ancestrals, all that whole stuff, whether you want to admit it or not, they're saying, they're clearing all of that stuff. And it is up to us to clear. And they're saying it's truthfully not a clearing, it's a transformation. The next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to notice, and they're saying, Tracy, for both of us, our language is going to shift as well. So therefore, everybody listening, your language is going to change. You're going to notice the clearing word is gone and the transformation word is in, because that's what's really happening. We are transforming everything. If you've got something where, oh, I have this, if you're aware of it, right? So I have this separation, I have this feeling coming up. Oh, I remember that from when I was a child. It's coming up because it's ready to transform itself and come back home. It's not coming out to say, oh, how do I clear this? What do I do? Who do I go to? No, everything is coming up to transform back into wholeness, back into oneness, which closes the gap of the separation. Because as things are moving forward, we're going to be starting to recognize other things, other dimensions, other frequencies, all that stuff that we talk about. You're going to start to recognize that more, and the awareness is here. Remember that when you are drawn to do something, it's not because your system, whatever, doesn't need it. You're drawn to do it because, oh, I know this inside. No, you're drawn to do it because your body is calling out saying, I need to remember how to do this myself. Do it and continue to do it until you say, okay, I don't need this anymore. Because you're saying it's such a huge shift coming, like such a big thing. So be aware of the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then after that, how the world is really shifting, because they're saying by the end of this year, we are going to be shocked at how different we are. Okay, what do you got?
Well, I love that you brought that up because I'll just use acupuncture or all of it really, and it's progressed as I've moved along. And of course, Renaé and I talk, and I always am like, oh yeah, and I can see things at a more expanded view. But we're moving beyond. So, like when I really with acupuncture, because there's someone else involved, and I don't want like the acupuncturist intention, or you have another person that's they know this is what it does and this is why I'm doing it, which is all valid. But I always go beyond that. Like I always kind of claim, okay, well, this is like the human vessels we see it now, but we're going beyond that. So, and the body sometimes is a little, like I say to my own body, you got to be compassionate and give it a little time because I'm like, no, superhuman now, let's go. Why aren't we flying? But the transform thing. It's not a healing, it's not a clearing, it is a transformation. And to bring the magnetics to support it. Like I just keep getting that analogy again and again, caterpillar to butterfly. If you were going to do the whole, like if you went in and said, completely make up my, let's even say, just say external. I want a whole body lift, facelift, whatever, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of support that is needed for the transformation. So we're not doing it that way. We're doing the organic way. So I do love that. Like I'm kind of over the whole healing, clearing, set off said to Renaé, I'm just getting bored with it all. Like I'm just bored. I'm done. Like let's go.
Well, and
But
that's what you were moving into. So good.
So yeah, it's a transformation. And, it's so funny because I'll use my husband. If we were going to run a marathon together, I would probably want like a little soul support in my shoe and maybe some electrolytes along the way, like just some support, you know what I mean? Where he'd probably just hardcore it. So we are transforming in a massive way. So I am looking for the things to give myself support on the journey, which is a very different intention, dialogue, perspective than I'm clearing things, I'm healing things. It's a huge shift of perspective.
Well, and haven't we been clearing and all this up for years? I mean, my God. I mean, when I first got into this forever ago, like that's what we were doing. Oh, we're clearing this. You're good. It's like where now and they're saying that this is something to really be aware of. And the awareness has been heightened, right? Everybody's been talking about it. I've got a ton of texts, ton of emails on how aware and all these crazy cool stories that are happening because you're aware, because the veil has been lifted, your eyes are opened. And it's that point of being aware of this is what I feel is right. This is what I am choosing to do for me. Your partner, somebody else, and whatever, people that you work with, they all have their own paths. We're all gonna end up at the same point, no matter how you get there. So if somebody's saying, "Oh, you got to do this," you got to like, yeah, well, I didn't get anything out of it because you didn't follow your own truth. You didn't really follow. Does it feel right? And that's why I love Tracy when you were saying, "I feel it. This company feels good to me. I do the research. I listen to the person that if there's a interview out there, the person that created this." Because that intention is coming through. And I love that you're like, and go beyond because somebody that has created anything, they're getting that information from somewhere. Okay. You can say the universe, you can say God, you can say they're all the same thing. They're all us. Okay. So you're doing all of that work, but you're bringing forth the energy field. The minute she's thinking, okay, let's go beyond that, she's actually going beyond even the person that created that. So you're tapping into a bigger field, a bigger connection. And you've said this before. You've said, I go beyond. I'd like to go beyond. And I love that because anything that we're doing, anything that you're thinking, if you're thinking, okay, I'm going to go beyond this. Like I'm notorious for, saying or thinking, okay, well, let's go beyond the human mind. Let's go beyond the human mind or the human existences or whatever. Let's go way out there. And certainly there are times that I don't get an answer, but I'm very aware I'm not getting the answer because I'm in the human field and I may be asking it, but clearly my system isn't ready to hear the answer or understand the answer because my mind hasn't expanded or whatever it is hasn't expanded enough. Because they're saying the minute you have that intention, it happens, period, whether you feel it, whether you're aware of it or not. And they're saying even in the places where you're asking for an answer to something, they're saying you immediately get it. A lot of times before your question is even thought the whole question is out there, you're getting that answer. You might not hear it, you might not feel it, but trust me, when you're talking later or something, you'll be saying it out loud, whenever that is. You'll be saying, you'll be like, wow, I didn't even know I knew that. Because it's going in. What you've done is you've taken that system and now you've closed the gap again. Because they say, we're asking whatever, God, Buddha, Allah, Jesus, whatever, we're asking all the names that you have for that. But you're really asking the true version of you that knows everything. And you're closing the gap of the separation, which I think is so freaking awesome and so cool. What do you say to all that, Trace?
Well, and you help me with this. I say it a lot and often, whether I'm just sitting and kind of like in my own, laying there doing my do or with a modality of some sort. And I love this new little mantra. Remember, allow, and become.
Mm.
Because I can see myself. I'm remembering at rapid speeds, but allowing it's a lot. Like, I've been given all these analogies of like, why do you need to learn a plane? Just get in there and do it. And I'm like, well, I know at some level I know how to fly, but I'm not going to jump off this 3-story building. Like, I don't have that level of faith right now. So it's this incremental of allowing ourselves to be as big as we are, and then you become it. And, you kind of got to honor at this point, I'll say, that it is a bit of us letting go of the mental mind and all the limitations that, we and might be clinging on to because like I have to have compassion for myself because I'm like, why am I not flying? Well, at some level, obviously I'm not allowing that to be quite yet, or who knows of all the dynamics at play. But I just think the more that you play with it and open your mind up to it, that allow peace. I think you hammer that to me a lot, Renee. Well, are you allowing yourself? I'm like, well, apparently not.
But you own it, and that's what I love. You're aware and you own it. And I
Yes.
think that is also like so key because some people will say, oh well, for whatever reason they're bringing in, cancer is a big one. So cancer, well, I shouldn't have to take chemotherapy. I'm going to allow my body to heal. If you're not at that place, which is exactly what you just said, if you're not at that place, honor that. I know a lot of people that had cancer that went in through chemo did not finish the chemotherapy because they knew when it was enough. They're like, I know. And the doctors, thank the good Lord, the doctors were like, okay, we're going to allow you to do that. And they've been in remission for many, many, many years. And they said, so sometimes we need the extra help because we got to get the human mind on board to say, oh, okay, look what I'm doing. Okay, this is helping and do whatever the therapy is. We need those things to get this human mind to the beyond, or to at least open up that little door of beyond, because that really is key. And the more you're saying or thinking, okay, I'm going to go beyond this. Like when you're looking for something, and answer anything, you're like, okay, we're going to go beyond this. Even if you're answering in the human form, the fact that you just said that, you've opened up, they're showing like this little door opening, you've cracked open the door to the next, whatever, bigger, whatever it is. So continue to do that. Honor what you're feeling, what feels right to you. Know that you're just closing the gaps to all that separation. We've been taught and programmed separation. The fear had been in there, but that's all ending. And for many, they're saying for many people around the world that has ended. And because we're moving into that next field, and some people are already there. I know, Tracy, you were saying something off camera, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right, because you go through things before we have. Like she had some things happening, and I was like, oh, I didn't go through that till later. But there's people in the forefront that are even before us that are out there doing this stuff, and the more we're being aware, and the more we're paying attention to what feels right, and we're just saying, okay, look at close the gap. We're one, or whatever word you want to use. It's just the intention that's carrying it forward. You will start to feel that larger picture at play, which I just think is so cool. Like I can't wait for the end of this year and next year to see like where we're at and what's actually happening. And I'm sure that's why you're bored. You're getting bored of
Yes.
all this stuff because you're already there, and we got to catch up with you.
Let's go. Come on. Oh.
Exactly. Anything else?
Nope, not on that. Did you have another point you wanted to bring up?
I think it was all brought up because you had said it in the beginning. You sort of like looped it all in there, and so all
Okay.
that stuff that I was saying they were bringing in. Thank God.
Perfect. You know,
Yes.
the only other thing I would add is that instead of, because I the same way, like our body should be able to do everything, and switching gears to, okay, well, let's honor support. I kind of do it like, okay, well, I'm open to things, but I want to do it on my terms. You know what I mean? Like I'll get like this stiff neck thing. So, okay, well, I choose not to go, I don't know, all the things you could do, but acupuncture was my choice for that, and I don't love it, but I also kind of like the process of it, to kind of start making it's to me, it's like this relationship thing of kind of deciding what we want to be in relationship with. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like instead of, oh no, I'm don't need anything, I'm like, okay, well, let me redefine. I'll have some experiences, but I'd like to set some, boundaries on what type of relationships I'm willing to engage in. Let me see how that works.
Exactly. Well, you know what else is really cool? Because I was talking to my friend Charlene this morning, and we had talked about this because we went into this. Here, I'm in Buffalo, New York. So in Clarence, there's this new aware center, and new awake center, I think it's called, and they have this EE machine. So I went in there for 2 hours, and had been having a problem with my ankle, and after that, it was gone. And I mean, that was like a couple of weeks ago, I think, and still gone. It was still gone, which was interesting. But I did have, when I was laying there, I did say, okay, okay, body, everything, something like, I can't remember my exact words, but like, okay, everything that we need to now come back into our true oneness, we're now I actually at that point said, we're now clearing. And immediately I heard, you're not clearing anything, you're transforming it. So I'm like, okay, we're now transforming. And I do remember feeling some things like in my knee, actually, it was like this almost stabbing pain. And I'm sure it was connected to the ankle because I remember, feeling something quickly in the ankle, and then I was out for however long. And then from there, I went into this like foot bath thing. But what was really interesting to me was afterwards, I was home and I was like, oh my God, that was like so cool. That was so, like, I don't know, energizing, because the next day, I'm telling you, I was completely different. Like I had so much energy. Like I didn't even know that I didn't have energy before. But what was crazy was I was like, oh, that's so crazy. I got to go back. And I heard, why do you have to go back? And I was like, well, because that was like so cool. And they're like, you just want to be there for the human mind. You want to go into the pattern in the program of what you have, which by the way, I have to say, I do have another appointment in December. And they said to me, you want to go back because the human body wants the mind, truthfully. They said the mind is what wants you to lay there and have that excuse. They said, why don't you go in your room and lay on the couch for 2 hours? And I'm like, Jesus Christ, that'll be freaking boring. And they're like, what was the difference? I'm like, well, they had the EE machines. Like, they're like, it's just energy. You were in that energy. You know what it feels like. The energy is in you. It's just energy. How do you think that it's separate? I'm like, wow, it is. I don't have those big panels in the corners. And they said, no. So just lay there. They're like, try this. They said, lay there for, let's just say 2 minutes, Renaé. Because that to me is like, oh, it's hours. So they're like, lay there for 2 minutes and now call in the energy of the EE machine. And they actually said machines. It's really just a panel. It's not even a machine. So I was like, okay. So I lay there, and I'll be darned if I didn't feel things in my knees. Like it was almost like acupuncture. You know how like when that first thing goes in, sometimes you'll feel it very quickly, and it's like
Yes.
your whole body. That's just felt. But then it was like over, and I was like, oh, that's crazy. And then I could feel, because they're like, pay attention, go into your system and feel what's happening. And not that I could feel something. I could feel my whole body, because when they said that, I was like, okay, I didn't really know what that meant. I was like, okay. And I went, and somehow I guess I still went in, and I could see these like energetic things like moving through my body, almost like lines going right down through my body. And then I saw the cells doing I don't know what the hell they were doing, but I saw them like almost communicating, and then things like transforming. It was like really crazy cool. And I was like, oh, okay, that was cool. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm bored with feeling this and doing that. So then I was done. But then they said to me, what was the difference there from when you went? You took the time to drive there. She just, I was like, well, when I got to talk to people, got to relax there for 2 hours here, like the dogs will bark, they want to go outside, I gotta do this. And they're like, that's all in your mind. Like if you say, okay, I'm going to sit here for 2 hours and I'm now going to be receiving this energy, they said, you will receive it. And they said, even when you're sitting there at work, if you want to receive it, and don't even pay attention to it. So we have, not that I've done it, but we have the ability to do that. And I did just this morning. I'll make sure I scheduled it for me, but I did schedule the one for December. And I'm going to go. But start to do this, start to try that stuff of these things, like ask for that to be infused or whatever. Okay, I'm going to now receive this and give yourself time to actually receive and probably go out. Because sometimes I just like go out and I was like, I'm like, what happened? Which is exactly what happened when I was in the EE machine too. But
But you know what I love about that is I'm big on this choosing our experiences thing too. Well, if you love it, like I love my facials and my massage, and I love the whole experience. I know it's doing phenomenal things for everything, but this is where it gets cool. That then you start to choose your experiences throughout the day. But
yeah,
you don't, you know what I mean? Instead of, because I've thought about this with the acupuncture thing. I was like, when I'm done, and I did sign up for 10 because I like to see, like, it's a cool thing for me to see what the body's doing and to, like I said, work in the collaboration. But then I'll decide at the end, like, ooh, did I like that experience? And do I choose to do it again? Because you're right. Or I can just lay in my own bed or lay outside and be like, okay, let's acupuncture up, you know?
yeah. And sometimes that's boring.
Well, that's my point.
Yep.
Sometimes you want the experience. No, I would like to go
Yeah.
there because I kind of like how they put that little thing on and it does a little. So, no, I'm going to keep doing that for a little bit.
Right.
But that's where it starts to get cool because then it's a choice and
Yes.
you're choosing the experience.
Yes. I love that. That's a very good point. I'm choosing to do this because when you're choosing it opposed to I need this, two totally different energies, two
Yep.
totally different fields coming in. Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome. Anything else?
No, I think that was awesome.
So it's funny when you said those three words, I was like, oh, hey, I have that on my desk here. Remember, allow,
Become.
let's go.
Oh, I
All
love it.
right. Yeah. So let's end with saying those. I gotta look down and read it. Clearly, I need that. I need to remember that. Because if you have to continue, like make the note and you've got to read it, that's your system is fighting. It's actually not the system, they're saying that's the mind fighting to go beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to put this everywhere now so that next time when we're recording this, I'll be like, remember, allow, become, let's go. So, all right, let's end with that note. Let's say that together. Remember,
Remember,
allow,
allow, become
become, and let's
it.
go.